Abds creations, rest begins here. Tonight, I'd like to invite you somewhere quiet, somewhere far away from crowded streets, bright screens, and the endless rhythm of everyday life. There is nothing you need to finish tonight. No emails waiting, no messages to answer, no deadlines chasing you. For the next little while, the world can wait, and all you need to do is listen. Imagine that you have just left the busy highways behind. The traffic lights have disappeared. The tall buildings are now only distant memories. Ahead of you stretches a narrow country road covered with fresh snow. It winds gently through the peaceful hills of Vermont, where winter always seems to arrive a little earlier and stay a little longer. The sky above is painted in soft shades of blue, gray, and silver. Snowflakes drift slowly through the evening air, not in a hurry, simply floating as though they have nowhere else to be. On either side of the road, ancient pine trees stand quietly beneath blankets of fresh snow. Their branches bend gently beneath the winter weight. Every now and then, a soft breeze moves through the forest, lifting a little snow from the branches, allowing it to fall silently back to the ground. The only sound around you is the quiet whisper of the wind and the comforting crackle of a fire waiting somewhere ahead. You continue driving slowly, comfortably, with no reason to rush. This isn't a journey measured in miles. It's measured in peace. The farther you travel, the quieter the world becomes. Soon, even your own thoughts begin to slow down. The road curves gently to the left, then to the right, following the natural shape of the hills, as it has done for generations, long before modern highways, before smartphones, before busy schedules. This same road carried travelers looking for something simple: rest, warmth, silence. And tonight, it welcomes you as well. Far ahead, through the softly falling snow, a tiny golden light appears. At first, it is only a small glow, easy to miss. But with every gentle turn of the road, it grows a little brighter, a little warmer, until you finally realize it is shining from the windows of a small wooden cabin. It sits quietly among the pine trees, its chimney sending a ribbon of pale smoke into the cold evening sky. Inside, a fire has already been lit. The cabin has been waiting, not for anyone in particular, simply waiting. The way old cabins always seem to do, patiently, calmly, as though they understand that everyone eventually needs a quiet place to rest. You slow the car, cross a small wooden bridge covered in fresh snow, and continue toward the warm light ahead. There is no hurry now, only the peaceful promise of a quiet evening in the Vermont hills. And as the cabin grows closer, you may already begin to notice that your breathing has become slower, your shoulders feel lighter, and the busy noise of the day has quietly faded behind you. Tonight, there is nowhere else you need to be. Only here, only this peaceful winter evening, only this gentle journey toward a warm cabin, waiting quietly beneath the falling snow. The old wooden porch welcomes you with a gentle creak, not the loud sound of worn timber, but the quiet reminder that many peaceful winters have passed through this little cabin. You brush a little snow from your coat and for a brief moment pause beside the door. The air is wonderfully fresh, cold enough to wake your senses, yet calm enough to quiet your thoughts. Behind you, the pine forest stretches peacefully into the distance. Snow continues to fall, covering every branch, every stone, every quiet path, until the world seems wrapped beneath a soft white blanket. You reach for the old brass handle. Its surface feels cool beneath your hand. Slowly, the wooden door opens. A gentle wave of warmth greets you. The comforting glow of the fireplace dances across polished wooden floors. The scent of cedar, old books, and burning firewood fills the room. It is the kind of warmth that asks for nothing. It simply welcomes you. You step inside, closing the door softly behind you. Outside, the winter evening continues. Inside, time seems to slow. The cabin is beautifully simple. A hand-woven rug rests beneath your feet. A weathered rocking chair waits quietly beside the fire. On a small wooden table, a steaming cup of tea has already been prepared. Beside it rests an open book, its pages gently marked by years of careful reading. Nothing here feels rushed, nothing feels modern. Everything has been placed with quiet purpose. The fireplace crackles softly, sending tiny sparks dancing upward before disappearing into the chimney. The warm orange light flickers gently across the walls, creating peaceful shadows that slowly move with the flames. You settle comfortably into the old chair. The cushions have softened over many winters, almost as though they remember every traveler who has rested here before. You wrap a warm wool blanket around your shoulders. The weight of it feels comforting, safe. Outside the window, snowflakes continue their slow descent, each one different, each one following its own silent path to the earth. There is something strangely comforting about watching snowfall. It asks nothing from you. There is no lesson to learn, no destination to reach, only quiet beauty, appearing one snowflake at a time. Perhaps that is one of winter's greatest gifts. It reminds us that slowing down is not wasting time. Sometimes it is exactly what we need. The fire continues its gentle rhythm. The wind whispers beyond the cabin walls, and somewhere high among the pine trees, the evening quietly settles over the Vermont hills. You take another slow breath. The warmth of the cabin, the soft glow of the fire, and the peaceful silence surrounding you begin to feel wonderfully familiar, almost as though you have been here before, and perhaps in the quiet corners of our imagination, places like this have always existed, waiting patiently for evenings just like tonight. There is something comforting about arriving somewhere without feeling expected. The little cabin asks no questions. It doesn't care where you have traveled from or how busy your day has been. It simply offers warmth, the way a quiet winter evening always has. As you continue along the gentle road, you notice an old wooden fence, its rails almost hidden beneath layers of fresh snow. Beyond it, an open meadow stretches peacefully toward the forest. In spring, it is said to be filled with wildflowers. In summer, golden grass sways beneath the warm Vermont sun. But tonight, winter has wrapped everything in silence. Every hill, every tree, every forgotten stone, even the smallest footprints left by woodland animals are slowly disappearing beneath fresh snowfall. Nature has its own gentle way of beginning again. Perhaps that is one of the quiet lessons winter gives us. It reminds us that not everything needs to be carried forever. Sometimes it is enough to let the snow fall gently over yesterday and begin again tomorrow. The warm light ahead grows brighter now. You can almost make out the wooden porch, the stone chimney, and the soft glow shining through the cabin windows. It feels less like discovering a place and more like returning to one, as though this peaceful little cabin has quietly existed in your imagination for many years, simply waiting for this very evening. The final stretch of road is short. Your journey through the snow is almost complete. And waiting beyond that warm wooden door is an evening filled with quiet comfort, the gentle sound of crackling fire, and the peaceful stillness that only a Vermont winter can offer. Take one more slow breath and allow yourself to leave the busy world behind, because tonight your only destination is peace. The porch beneath your feet gives a soft, familiar creak, as though it has quietly welcomed visitors for many generations. You pause for just a moment. Behind you, the snow continues to fall, covering the winding road, the wooden fence, and the quiet pine forest, one gentle layer at a time. Everything outside feels wonderfully still. There are no passing cars, no distant city lights, no hurried footsteps, only winter moving at its own peaceful pace. You reach for the old brass doorknob. Its cool surface reminds you how cold the evening has become. Slowly, you turn the handle. The heavy wooden door opens without a sound. Almost immediately, a wave of comforting warmth surrounds you. It isn't the overwhelming heat of a modern building. It's softer than that, gentler, the kind of warmth that only a real wood-burning fireplace can create. For a brief moment, you simply stand in the doorway, breathing in. The air carries the comforting scent of cedar wood, aged timber, fresh pine, and a faint hint of cinnamon. Someone, perhaps many years ago, must have baked something sweet in this little kitchen. And somehow, the cabin still remembers. You step inside. The thick wool rug beneath your boots softens every footstep. Behind you, the door closes gently. The outside world, with all its noise, its schedules, and its endless demands quietly slips away. Here, inside these wooden walls, time seems to move differently. The fire crackles peacefully inside a large stone fireplace. Golden light dances across the room, creating gentle shadows that slowly shift with every flicker of the flames. Nothing rushes here, not the fire, not the evening, not even your thoughts. To your left, an old rocking chair rests beside the fireplace. Its wood has become smooth after countless quiet evenings. Perhaps someone once sat there, reading by candlelight. Perhaps another traveler simply watched the snow fall without saying a single word. The cabin never asks, it simply remembers. Near the window, a small wooden table waits quietly. Upon it rests a steaming mug of tea. Thin ribbons of steam rise slowly into the warm air before disappearing completely. Beside the cup lies a well-loved book. Its cover has faded over the years. Its pages have grown slightly golden. The kind of book that has been opened not hundreds, but thousands of times. Outside the window, snowflakes drift through the evening sky. Each one follows its own quiet path. None of them hurry, none of them compete. They simply fall exactly as they were meant to. Perhaps there is something we can learn from that. Life often asks us to move faster, to do more, to think further ahead. But winter asks something different. It gently reminds us that rest is also part of living. You settle into the old chair. The cushion sinks ever so slightly, as though welcoming you home. You wrap a warm wool blanket across your shoulders. The soft weight feels comforting, safe. You lift the warm mug of tea, holding it between your hands. Its gentle warmth spreads slowly through your fingers. Outside, the wind whispers softly through the tall pine trees. Inside, the fire answers with its quiet, crackling song. Together, they create a rhythm older than memory itself. You close your eyes just for a moment, listening, breathing, resting, and little by little, the peaceful silence of this small Vermont cabin begins to feel like it has always been waiting for you. The fire continues its quiet conversation. One log settles gently, sending a small shower of glowing embers up toward the chimney. You watch them for a moment until they disappear. There is something strangely comforting about a fire that asks for nothing. It doesn't try to impress. It doesn't hurry. It simply burns patiently, warming the room, one gentle flame at a time. You lift the warm mug once more. The tea has cooled just enough to take a slow sip. Its warmth spreads gently through your hands and then through the rest of you. Outside, the snowfall has become a little heavier. Tiny white flakes drift past the window, catching the golden glow before disappearing into the quiet darkness beyond. The forest seems almost asleep. The tall pines stand silently, their branches carrying soft blankets of fresh snow. Every now and then, a small amount slips quietly from a branch, landing without a sound. Nature has no audience tonight, yet somehow it remains beautifully graceful. Perhaps that is one of the reasons winter feels so peaceful. Nothing is trying to be noticed. Everything simply exists exactly as it is. You notice a small wooden shelf resting against the far wall. On it sit several old lanterns, a handmade ceramic bowl, and a tiny carved wooden bird. Each object seems to have its own quiet story, not important stories, not dramatic ones, just simple moments collected over many peaceful winters, the kind of memories that slowly become part of a home. The rocking chair beside the fire moves ever so slightly, perhaps because of the warmth rising from the flames, or perhaps because old cabins have little ways of reminding us that they are still alive. You smile softly to yourself, not because anything exciting has happened, but because, for the first time in quite a while, there is nothing demanding your attention, no clock to watch, no schedule to follow, only the gentle rhythm of the fire, the wind, and your own slow breathing. You lean back a little farther. The blanket feels wonderfully soft. The chair supports you comfortably, and somewhere deep within the quiet cabin, you begin to notice something unusual. The silence doesn't feel empty. It feels full of warmth, full of comfort, full of little sounds that are so gentle they almost disappear. The quiet crackle of burning wood, the faint whisper of the winter wind, the occasional soft tap of snow brushing against the window. Together, they create a peaceful melody, a melody that has played here through countless winter evenings, long before tonight, and perhaps for many winters still to come. You close your eyes just for another slow breath, the warmth of the fire, the comfort of the chair, and the peaceful stillness of the cabin begin to feel wonderfully familiar, as though this little place has quietly become a second home. For a little while, you simply sit, doing nothing at all, and somehow it feels wonderful. The fire continues its steady dance, casting warm golden light across the wooden walls. Each flicker creates new shadows that quietly appear and disappear without ever asking to be noticed. Outside, the evening grows darker. The blue winter sky slowly gives way to the deep velvet colors of night. One by one, the first stars begin to appear between the tall pine trees. Only a few, just enough to remind you that beyond the quiet snowfall, the sky is still wide, still endless, still beautifully calm. You notice how different the silence feels here. It isn't the silence of an empty room. It is the silence of a place that is completely at peace. The cabin breathes quietly around you. The old wooden beams settle ever so gently. The fireplace whispers softly. The warm air rises while the cool winter night rests patiently beyond the glass. For generations, storms have passed this little cabin. Heavy snow, strong winds, long winters, yet somehow The cabin has remained standing quietly, welcoming every season without complaint. Perhaps there is something comforting about places that endure, places that remind us that peace does not come from avoiding every storm. Sometimes peace comes from finding a warm light within the storm itself. You smile softly, holding the warm mug between your hands. There is nowhere else you would rather be. No journey left to finish, no race left to run. Only this moment, only this quiet room, only the gentle sound of fire and falling snow. Your breathing slows once more, almost without noticing, each breath a little deeper, a little calmer, a little lighter. The warmth of the cabin seems to settle, not only around you, but within you. And as the evening quietly unfolds, you begin to understand why so many people have always found comfort in small cabins during long winter nights. Because here, nothing asks you to become someone else. You are already enough. The fire is warm, the tea is waiting, the snow continues to fall, and tonight that is more than enough. The fire has settled into a slow, steady rhythm. Its bright flames have become softer now, more gentle, more peaceful. The room glows with the quiet warmth that only an old fireplace can create. You pull the rocking chair just a little closer to the fire, not too close, just enough to feel its comforting warmth resting gently against your hands. The wooden chair responds with the softest little creak, almost as though it is happy to have your company. You sit back comfortably. The thick wool blanket rests lightly across your shoulders. Its warmth feels familiar, like something you have known for a very long time. Perhaps comfort always feels familiar, even when we discover it for the very first time. The tea beside you is still pleasantly warm. A gentle ribbon of steam rises quietly before disappearing into the golden air above the fireplace. You lift the mug carefully. Its smooth ceramic surface has absorbed just enough warmth to feel wonderful between your hands. You take a slow sip. There is no need to hurry. The tea tastes simple, gentle, comforting, the kind of drink that asks nothing from you, except that you slow down and enjoy this quiet moment. Outside, the snowfall continues, soft, patient, endless. Every snowflake finds its own path through the silent Vermont night. None of them rush, none of them compete. Each one simply drifts toward the earth, exactly as nature intended. The window beside you has begun to collect tiny crystals of frost. Delicate patterns spread slowly across the edges of the glass, each one unique. Tiny works of art created by the quiet meeting of warmth and winter. You lean back just a little farther. The chair rocks gently, forward, then back, forward again. Each slow movement matches the peaceful rhythm of your breathing. Without realizing it, your shoulders begin to relax. The busy thoughts that followed you here have started to fade. Not because you force them away, but because there is finally enough quiet for them to rest. The fire continues, its gentle conversation. Every now and then, a log shifts slightly, sending a handful of tiny glowing sparks up toward the chimney. They shine for only a moment, then quietly disappear. Some moments are beautiful, precisely because they are brief. You glance toward the bookshelf, resting peacefully along the far wall. Old novels, travel journals, a collection of handwritten recipes, several worn leather covers, their pages softened by time. Books that have waited patiently through countless winters. Perhaps someday someone will sit here again, choose one from the shelf, and continue a story that began many years before. But tonight, there is no need to read. The cabin itself is already telling a story spoken not with words, but with warmth, with quiet, with falling snow, with the peaceful glow of a winter fire. You close your eyes for only a moment. The sounds around you become even softer. The crackle of burning wood, the whisper of the wind, the gentle rocking of the chair, your own slow breathing. Together, they become a peaceful melody, one that has played here for generations, and tonight it plays just for you. The fire continues its quiet dance, casting gentle shadows across the wooden walls. Every movement of the flame is slow, unhurried, almost as if time itself has chosen to rest here. You notice how peaceful the room has become, not silent, because silence is never truly empty. Instead, it is filled with small, comforting sounds. The gentle crackle of seasoned firewood, the soft whisper of winter wind moving through the tall pine trees, the occasional settling sound of the old cabin as the warm wood slowly adjusts to the cold night outside. None of these sounds ask for your attention. They simply exist, steady, reliable, comforting. You wrap your hands around the warm mug once more. The ceramic feels smooth, its gentle warmth travels slowly through your fingertips. Sometimes comfort arrives in the smallest of ways: a warm drink, a quiet chair, a safe room, a peaceful evening. Outside the window, snow continues to fall without effort. The forest welcomes every snowflake without making a sound. Branches slowly gather their soft white blankets. The distant hills become softer, their edges fading gently beneath the quiet snowfall. You realize that nature never seems to hurry. The trees have stood here through hundreds of winters. They have watched countless storms arrive. They have watched every spring return, and yet they never rush toward tomorrow. Perhaps there is something beautiful to learn from old trees, to remain steady, to stand quietly, to welcome each season exactly as it comes. The rocking chair moves gently beneath you, forward, back, forward again, its rhythm has become so familiar that you hardly notice it anymore. It simply carries you through the evening, one peaceful moment at a time. The warmth from the fire spreads across the room, touching every wooden beam, every old book, every quiet corner. Nothing here feels forgotten. Everything has its place. Everything belongs. Your breathing has become slower now, a little deeper, a little calmer. Without trying, your body begins to match the rhythm of this peaceful cabin. If there were clocks here, you imagine they would tick more gently. If there were worries, they would probably choose to wait outside until morning. Tonight, there is nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to finish, nothing you need to carry. This quiet evening asks only one thing of you: to simply be here, to enjoy the warmth of the fire, the comfort of the chair, the gentle snowfall beyond the window, and the peaceful feeling that somewhere far away from busy roads and endless noise, this little cabin continues to glow like a small light, waiting patiently for anyone who needs a place to rest. Take another slow breath and let the warmth settle gently around you. There is nowhere else you need to be, only here, only tonight, only this quiet moment. The evening has grown quieter now. The fire still burns, but its flames have become slower, gentler. The bright dancing light has settled into a calm, steady glow. Every now and then, a tiny ember floats upward, disappearing softly into the stone chimney above. It reminds you that even the smallest light can fill an entire room with warmth. You rest comfortably against the back of the rocking chair. The blanket has become wonderfully warm. Its soft fabric holds the gentle heat of the fireplace. Outside, the snowfall has become thicker. Not a storm, only a peaceful winter night, doing exactly what winter nights have always done. The pine trees stand quietly, their branches growing heavier beneath fresh snow. Nothing feels lonely, only peaceful. The little cabin feels like its own small world, protected, warm, completely untouched by the hurried rhythm of everyday life. Your tea has cooled slightly now. You take one final sip. The warmth lingers for a moment before quietly fading. You place the mug back upon the little wooden table. Its gentle sound against the wood is almost musical. Then everything becomes still again. The open book rests quietly beside you. Its pages move ever so slightly as warm air drifts upward from the fireplace. Perhaps tomorrow someone will continue reading, but tonight the story can wait. Some evenings are not meant for reading words. Some evenings are meant for listening to silence. You notice how your breathing has become slower than when you first arrived. Each breath feels effortless, gentle, natural, peaceful. Your thoughts have become quieter too, not because they disappeared, but because they finally found a place gentle enough to rest. The old cabin has a way of asking nothing from you. It does not expect anything. It simply offers warmth, shelter, stillness, and perhaps that is the greatest gift any place can offer. The fire continues its endless conversation, a quiet language spoken only through glowing embers, soft crackles, and dancing light. It has told this story to countless travelers over countless winters. Tonight, it tells the same story to you. Outside, the forest sleeps peacefully. The snow continues to cover every path, every fence, every rooftop, until the entire landscape seems wrapped inside one soft white blanket. There is something comforting about knowing that while the world rests, this little cabin remains awake, keeping its quiet promise of warmth. You close your eyes just for another moment. The rocking chair moves once, very gently, then again, slowly, as though the cabin itself is quietly whispering that everything is exactly as it should be. There is nowhere to hurry, nothing waiting, no reason to count the hours. Only this peaceful fire, this quiet room, this snowy evening, and the gentle comfort of simply being here. If sleep begins to find you now, you are welcome to follow it. There is no need to resist. The fire will continue burning, the snow will continue falling, and this little cabin will remain here, keeping watch through the peaceful winter night. Take one more slow breath. Feel the warmth, feel the stillness, feel the quiet, and simply allow yourself to rest. The fire burns quietly. Its gentle light reaches every corner of the cabin. Across the room, an old wooden bookshelf stands against the wall. Nothing about it feels perfect. Some books lean gently, others rest flat. A small lantern sits beside them. Its brass has faded with time, yet it still shines softly in the firelight. On the highest shelf, a small wooden bird watches over the room. Its smooth surface tells you it has been held many times, perhaps by children, perhaps by travelers, perhaps simply by someone passing a quiet winter evening. Near the center of the shelf rests a thick journal. Its leather cover is worn. Its pages have grown soft with age. No lock, no title, only years of quiet memories. You gently open it. The handwriting changes from page to page. Some visitors wrote only a single sentence. Others filled an entire page. Most of them shared the same feeling. They came here looking for peace, and somehow they found it. You turn another page. A short message catches your eye. The world felt quieter here. Nothing more. Just one simple sentence. Sometimes a few words say everything. You close the journal gently. Some stories are meant to stay here, safe inside this little cabin. The fire crackles softly. Outside, snow continues to fall. Inside, the evening feels calm, and for a little while longer, so do you. The lantern did not shine brightly. It did not need to. Its warm light rested softly across the old shelves. Every book seemed peaceful. Every shadow looked gentle. Nothing hurried. Nothing demanded attention. Outside, the forest remained silent. Only the slow whisper of falling snow drifted through the darkness. Inside, the cabin felt untouched by time. Perhaps that was why so many travelers loved places like this. Long before televisions, before phones, before endless notifications, people spent winter evenings differently. They gathered close to a warm fire. Someone would prepare tea, someone else would quietly read. Sometimes no one spoke for many minutes, and somehow those quiet moments became the memories they treasured most. Maybe real comfort has never been about doing more. Maybe it has always been about needing less. Imagine yourself sitting beside that fire now. The wooden chair supports you perfectly. The blanket rests across your shoulders. Your hands are wrapped around a warm mug. You are not thinking about tomorrow. You are not replaying yesterday. For just this moment, you are simply here. The lantern flickers. The fire breathes softly. A page of an old book moves ever so slightly, perhaps from the warmth, perhaps from the quiet air inside the cabin, or perhaps the cabin enjoys telling its own stories. No one can really know. Old cabins have a way of holding memories, not the loud kind, the gentle kind. Laughter shared during long winters, letters written beside the fire, children falling asleep while snow covered the roof above them. Small moments, simple moments, the kind that stay with a place forever. If walls could speak, this cabin would never need to raise its voice. It would simply whisper one peaceful story after another, and tonight it is whispering one to you. On the lowest shelf, there rested a single leather journal, smaller than the others, older than most. Its cover had softened with time. The corners were worn smooth. No title appeared on the front, only the quiet marks of many winters. It was the kind of book that asked for nothing. It simply waited, patiently, year after year. Perhaps someone had written inside it many decades ago. Perhaps someone had simply carried it through long winters. No one could know for certain, and somehow that mystery felt comforting. Not every question needs an answer. Some are meant to remain peaceful. Imagine reaching toward that little journal. Your fingers brush across the old leather. It feels cool at first, then gently warm, as though it remembers every hand that ever held it. You lift it slowly. A little dust rises into the lantern light. The room stays perfectly still. Even the fire seems quieter now. You open the first page. The paper has turned the color of warm cream. The ink has faded just enough. Yet every word remains calm, written carefully, without hurry, without rushing toward the next thought. The handwriting feels familiar, almost like a letter from an old friend. Someone who expected nothing in return. Someone who simply wished another traveler a peaceful evening. You smile without realizing it. The cabin feels even warmer now. Outside, snow continues to fall. Inside, the fire continues to glow, and somewhere between those two worlds, you find yourself breathing a little slower, a little deeper, a little more peacefully. Perhaps that is the true purpose of old places, not to impress us, not to entertain us, but to remind us that peace has always been waiting quietly, patiently, like an old journal, resting on a wooden shelf, waiting for someone just like you. The journal rests quietly in your hands. Its leather cover feels soft, not new, not fragile, simply well loved. You open the first page. The paper is warm with age. The handwriting is careful, slow, thoughtful. At the top of the page, someone wrote only a date, January 12th, many winters ago. Below it, just a few simple words. Tonight, the snow reminded me to slow down. Nothing more, no long story, no explanation. Only one quiet thought. You turn another page, a different hand, a different year. I arrived tired. I leave peaceful. You smile gently. Some feelings need very few words. The fire continues to glow. Its warm light falls across the page. Outside, snow drifts silently through the trees. Another page, another traveler. The silence here helped me hear myself again. You pause for a moment. Perhaps that is why places like this matter. Not because they are extraordinary, but because they allow ordinary moments to become unforgettable. You continue reading. Some entries are only one sentence. Some are only a single word. Home, rest, enough. Simple words. Yet each one carries quiet meaning. The journal asks for nothing. It simply keeps these memories safe. Year after year, winter after winter, you gently touch the edge of another page. It waits patiently, ready to share another quiet voice from another peaceful evening. There is something comforting about this quiet evening. The fire burns gently beside you, filling the cabin with a soft golden light. Outside, snow continues to fall across the silent forest. Nothing asks for your attention. Nothing needs to be finished tonight. You turn another page of the old journal. A simple sentence appears. I found peace here. Only 4 words, yet they seem enough. Perhaps the writer understood that peace does not need many explanations. You continue reading. Another visitor wrote that the silence helped them slow down. Another thanked the little cabin for one peaceful night. Their words are different, but they all carry the same feeling. Rest, warmth, stillness. You close the journal for a moment and listen. The fire crackles softly. The winter wind moves through the trees. Everything feels calm. Take a slow breath. Allow your shoulders to relax. Let every thought become a little lighter. Tomorrow can wait until morning. Tonight belongs to quiet moments. Tonight belongs to gentle breathing. Tonight belongs to rest. The journal will still be here. The fire will continue to glow. The snow will continue to fall beyond the window. And this peaceful cabin will remain warm and welcoming, waiting patiently as you drift a little deeper into comfort, a little deeper into stillness, and a little closer to a peaceful night's sleep. The fire has grown softer now. Its warm glow dances quietly across the wooden walls, while the snow continues its silent journey outside the window. The cabin feels peaceful, almost as if time itself has slowed. There is nowhere else you need to be, nothing more you need to do. You have given yourself this moment of rest, and that is enough. Feel the warmth around you. Feel the calm within you. Every gentle breath carries away another little piece of the day's weight. The silence is no longer empty. It is comforting. It is safe. The old journal rests on the table, its final pages waiting for another evening. There is no hurry to read them tonight. Some stories are meant to unfold slowly, just like falling snow. Allow your eyes to grow heavier. Allow your thoughts to drift like soft clouds across a quiet winter sky. There is nothing to solve, nothing to remember, nothing to fear, only the steady rhythm of your breathing, only the quiet crackle of the fire, only this peaceful cabin holding you in its gentle warmth. As the night grows deeper, let yourself sink into this feeling of comfort. Let every breath guide you closer to stillness, closer to quiet, closer to peaceful sleep. The cabin will remain here, waiting patiently whenever you wish to return. The journal rests quietly upon the table. Its pages have shared enough for one evening. You leave it exactly where it belongs. The fire continues its gentle glow, drawn by quiet curiosity. You walk toward the window. The wooden floor gives a soft creak beneath each careful step. Nothing disturbs the silence. The room remains warm behind you. The cool glass waits before you. You rest your hand against the window frame. Outside, the world has become white. Snow falls without effort, without sound. Each snowflake finds its own place among the tall pine trees. No two follow the same path, yet together they create something peaceful. The forest seems asleep. Its branches carry soft blankets of fresh snow. Even the wind moves gently tonight. There is no storm, only a slow winter breeze, guiding the falling snow across the quiet hillside. You notice something beautiful. No footprints, no roads, no lights in the distance. Only untouched snow stretching deeper into the forest. It reminds you that the world still holds places where silence is allowed to exist. Perhaps we all need a place like this from time to time. A place where nothing asks us to hurry. A place where breathing slowly feels completely natural. You remain by the window, watching, listening, resting, and little by little, the peaceful winter night begins to quiet your own thoughts. Sometimes the mind convinces us that peace exists somewhere else. It whispers that happiness will arrive after one more achievement, one more success, or one more perfect day. Yet the more we chase tomorrow, the farther today seems to drift away. The truth is much simpler. Peace has always lived in the present moment. It is hidden inside the quiet breath you almost ignored. It rests within the warmth of the cup in your hands, the gentle glow of the fire, and the soft silence that surrounds you tonight. These ordinary moments often pass unnoticed, yet they quietly shape the life we remember. Notice how nothing outside this window is asking you to hurry. The snow falls without rushing, the trees stand without fear, the night unfolds without trying to become morning. Nature has never been impatient. It simply allows each moment to become exactly what it was meant to be. Perhaps we can learn the same lesson. For just a little while, allow yourself to stop measuring time. Stop counting unfinished tasks. Stop searching for the next destination. Instead, simply be here. Feel the steady rhythm of your breathing. Feel the chair supporting your body. Feel the comforting warmth that gently fills this peaceful cabin. You do not have to earn this moment. You only have to notice it. Every slow breath becomes an invitation to let go. Every quiet second reminds you that your worth has never depended on constant movement. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to rest. And sometimes resting is the most meaningful thing you can do. As the fire continues to glow and the winter night quietly watches over the world beyond the window, let your thoughts become lighter, not because every problem has disappeared, but because for this moment you have chosen peace over pressure. And perhaps that simple choice is where true calm begins. Perhaps this cabin was never the destination. Perhaps it was only a gentle reminder, a reminder that peace has never been hidden in distant places. It has always waited quietly within the moments we so often rush past. Tonight, you allowed yourself to slow down. You listened to the quiet language of falling snow. You watched the soft glow of a patient fire. You noticed the warmth of a simple cup, the comfort of a familiar blanket, and the silence that asked nothing from you except your presence. And maybe that is enough. Life will continue when morning comes. There will still be responsibilities. There will still be plans waiting to unfold. The world outside will begin moving again, just as it always has. But something inside you can remain exactly as it is now. Calm, steady, quiet. Carry this feeling with you, not only into tomorrow, but into every ordinary moment that follows. When life becomes loud, remember this peaceful room. When your thoughts begin to race, remember the slow rhythm of your breathing beside this warm fire. When the world asks you to hurry, remember that the trees beyond the window never rushed to grow. They simply stood through every season, trusting time to do its work. You can do the same. There is no need to force every answer, no need to solve every uncertainty before allowing yourself to rest. Sometimes healing happens quietly. Sometimes strength grows invisibly. Sometimes the most meaningful progress happens while nothing appears to change at all. As the fire slowly settles into glowing embers, the night continues to hold the cabin in perfect stillness. Outside, the snow keeps falling without expectation. Inside, every breath becomes softer than the last. If your eyes have become heavy, Allow them to close. If your thoughts have become quieter, let them drift wherever they wish. There is nowhere else you need to be, nothing more you need to finish, nothing left to prove, only this peaceful moment, only this gentle silence, only this quiet reminder that you have always deserved rest. May this calm remain with you long after this story fades into silence. Sleep peacefully, dream gently, and whenever your heart longs for stillness again, this little cabin will always be waiting for you.